Ladies and gentlemen, I came across something the other day that scared the living shit out of me, right? And it definitely puts things into perspective in the way that the artificial intelligence is going. I'm gonna let you guys watch the video, this particular short, and I'm gonna come back to you so that we can really talk about it. But this spooked the living hell out of me, right? Watch this clip.
Nobody's safe. I'm sorry, but nobody's safe. Please look at this filter. Oh my god. This is gonna take the catfishes to a whole nother level. Be safe out there. This is terrifying.
Today I learned that this new viral beauty filter was created using machine learning. Unlike traditional beauty filters that use an augmented 3D face mesh that is overlaid on top of your face, filters like Bold Glamour, Teenage Look, uses a machine learning tech called GAN, meaning every pixel on your face is regenerated and then outputted after referencing another data set of images, which is why the filter looks so realistic. That is all. This is Zangsta, over and out.
Y'all boys better be careful, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've always had a foundational respect for all of my guys who chose to do the quote-unquote cold approach, right? Not necessarily the cold approach, but the guys that go out and talk to women in public settings, go out there, you don't mind getting rejected in public. I've always had a very sense of respect for guys who do that, right? But we have to say that the internet and social media and all of these particular applications have made dating and or meeting women relatively easy, right? But now we're starting to see that although these social media apps have made the ease of meeting and entertaining young ladies, feasible, to an extent, it's also made deception relatively easy to do, as well as manipulation relatively easy to do. And when I saw these particular applications and I saw firsthand what women can change their physical attributes, and it's not so much a filter where you can tell something's a filter. It literally looks like this is the particular young lady you're talking to, and it can change different filters, and AI can generate facial recognition and change and transplant faces onto others, and it looks as if this is the actual person you're talking to. Like my man said in the video, and the young lady said in the video, this could take catfishing to a whole nother level, right? You think you're talking to somebody for a significant period of time. No different than if you plan on talking to somebody before going overseas, right? And I often have been an advocate for it. I often tell guys, if you want to talk to women online, don't necessarily commit yourself to anything, but it's not a bad idea to communicate with a couple just to get a feel for the type of young lady you might be interested in. If you do get a chance to meet them while you're there, cool. If you don't, at least you have a general foundational idea of what you're looking for in a young lady overseas, which is why I encourage talking to them if you can, rather than wait until you're physically there to, have the conversation. It's cool. But now I look at this shit and I'm like, yo, this really wants to make me reel back on everything that I said, because I don't want anybody to get caught up in some nonsense, right? I don't want any of my fellow brethren, passporting, associations, affiliates, the IPA, whatever. I don't want any of you guys to get caught up in this nonsense, because this shit is scary. And I'm old and married, so this really doesn't apply to me, but I'm still within a generation wherein I understand, and people around my particular age understand the natural progression of things. We've seen what the internet was like when it first hit in like the early 2000s and shit. We've seen dial-up modems and shit go into Wi-Fi and all that stuff. We've seen the transition from the floppy disk to the fucking USB to the, terabytes of data that are actually in the phone or in the devices and shit. We've seen the natural progression of things. And now that I'm seeing the natural progression of what social media has, turned into, me starting with MySpace and platforms like Friendster to Facebook to IG to Snapchat, now to particular platforms and AI applications that can completely change your face and facial recognition, dog. That scares the hell out of me, right? And it scares me for you because I got mines and I'm good. But for anybody still in the market, anybody still looking to date around, have a little fun and shit, overseas or domestic, domestic or abroad, it changes the game, because now you can't even say, oh, let me see you on camera. Back in the day, if you knew somebody was trying to finesse or catfish you and shit, what would they do, right? Turn on the camera, but it'd be all dark and shit, or faces all obscured and shit. You know what I'm saying? You could tell somebody trying to finesse you back then, but now it's becoming extremely difficult to see if a young lady is trying to finesse you or not. And, at a certain point, it gets to where they can change voices as well as face, right? So I'm gonna say it just to get it out the way. You don't know if you're talking to somebody who lives an alternative lifestyle or not. You thinking you talk to a beautiful young lady, and it's somebody aspiring to be a beautiful young lady, right? And fuck your whole mind up and your game up. You thinking you really into a conversation with somebody who's bad as hell, somebody you think is hella attractive, but yet still, even if it is 100% female, that shit could look completely different than what is being presented with the AI, which I do believe, on God, that shit should be illegal, right? I should be able to have your ass arrested if you do some shit like that to me. But I don't know if there's any rules against young ladies using these particular filters or applications to change complete physical appearance. I don't know if that's illegal. It should be, but it's probably not, at least not yet, right? But now there's a level of a need to be extremely careful. We've always had to be careful when it comes to dealing with and or talking to women online. Of course, it goes for females too. Let me make sure I preface that. Ladies, guys will catfish you too. Not as often as women do, but guys can do it too. But in reality, the way I look at it, I'm like, yo, I have to be extremely careful, and I can't just assume that if I see you on camera, right, that's who you are now. Right? Back in the day, I could say, yo, man, you trying to finesse me, man. But now you don't know, right? And now that adds an extra layer of, I would say, skepticism and cautiousness that you guys need to take into consideration if you're choosing or opting to, at least from the group of people that or the audience that I serve is for guys that are looking to talk to young ladies overseas before, actually going overseas. Now, I will say this, and I may be wrong on it, so I'm not going to be 100,000% on this, right? I'm not going to stand on it 100,000%, but I'm going to stand on it on a little bit. Catfishing, yes. This type of catfishing, I think right now at the elevated level that they're working with right now, probably more so in the United States than it is in these foreign countries, right? When it comes to talking to women, the elevated level of catfishing or the elevated level of how the AI is working, I'm not sure if this is right now. I'm not sure. That's why I want to make sure I preface that. If it's so much applicable to dealing with young ladies abroad, I could be wrong. They may be on this shit, right? They may be on that. But usually this is like some shit that's really popping in the United States more so than it is in like foreign countries like your DRs and Brazils and stuff like that. Not necessarily because these countries are developing, but more so, well, that could be an actual reason why, but it could be for other reasons other than, I don't know if the application is applicable there or it's even they can access it or whatever. So this might be more or less a United States thing or a Western world type app that's really fooling people and stuff like that. But then again, I tell everybody this, man, just because it may be in a central location or it may start somewhere doesn't mean that it won't spread like a disease in other countries, right? No different than the mannerisms and the mentality of young ladies who choose to live a more modernized, liberated life and, doing all of that shit, right? Same rules apply, right? So we have to be extremely careful, ladies and gentlemen, about how we choose to navigate, how we deal with young ladies when it comes to dealing with these online applications. These online apps are changing the game, and I'm not necessarily believing that they're changing the game for the better. I don't think they changing the game for the better, man. I think it is going to make it extremely difficult for guys to talk to women online because it's going to be hard to trust, right? So now we might have to, one way or another, get back to the idea of not necessarily cold approaching, but dealing with young ladies that are giving us choosing signals in the publics, right? Or choosing signals like when we out and about, right? It's gonna make it extremely difficult unless you're one of those types of guys that are okay with being catfished or, filter fished. That's the new term. It's not catfish, it's filter fished. I don't know if somebody's ever said that, but I'm saying it. Filter fished or whatever. you know, in the online setting, right? It's different now, and I'm kind of like glad that I'm no longer a part of that lifestyle. I'm glad that I'm not in this dating market shit, right? Like I said, being married has its perks a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know who you married, right? I see this motherfucker every day without makeup on, and I'm extremely satisfied with the result, right? So that's me, right? I don't know how you guys feel. I think that one of my choosing characteristics, this is a completely off topic, but on topic at the exact same time, one of my choosing or characteristic, what I look for in a young lady is, what do you look like without all the makeup on and shit? And when I met my young lady, I don't know why I'm going into a history with y'all, but let me give y'all a quick little tidbit. When I met her, she didn't really wear a lot of makeup at all, maybe a little bit of foundation here and there. So when I met her, I kind of met her in her rawest form, right? And you usually will find a lot of young traditional ladies in overseas in their rawest form, not so much with the pounded on makeup and shit. And I think that's probably why, like, a lot of guys choose to date overseas, because, you know, you want to deal with a young lady that, you know, you get to be able to see her in her natural beauty, as opposed to MAC and all those Kylie Jenner makeup shits or whatever these girls be wearing every now and again. And shit ain't cute, man. Shit ain't kosher, man, because it's catfishing the hell out of hell. It's actually catfishing us in public, so you gotta be careful about the young ladies with the little weaves on and shit, and pounded on makeup, man. Bitch leaving half her face on your pillow when she wake up in the morning. That type shit, I don't have to worry about that nightmare, because I knew what my young lady looked like before that, right? When it's all when it's all stripped off, right, in the rawest form, I know what that is, right? And I think that, you know, even then you can still be catfished in public due to the amount of makeup that some of these ladies wear. And, you know, ladies, I love y'all. And if you choose to get extensions and or weave, I know exactly what to look for in order to tell me if that is your real hair or not. Taken for somebody who don't have hair, I know what it looks like to be bald. And I kind of realized that some of these girls are balder than me, but we're not going to go into that right now. But, you know, you got to make sure you know what you're looking for, right? Right? You got to make sure you know what you're looking for, man. And nowadays, I guess it'll probably be us going back to talking to young ladies while we're physically in whatever country we're looking to travel to, right? Going back to being the holla monster, the holla, 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 holla. And only people will get that if you've ever watched Dave Chappelle, right? The holla guy is funny. I'll see if I can slip in the clip so that y'all can see it. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you guys feel about these apps. I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys have to say about it, man. This has been my time, the good Doc, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. Time for the Doc to go and get to get it. Y'all take care, man. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.